Rennes-le-Chateau, where part of Revelation was filmed, is a village in southwestern France in the Languedoc area, and in medieval times it was dominated by the Knights Templar. Their influence even spread as far as here, the Inner Temple in London. A century ago, the priest of a remote French village unearthed a tomb beneath his ancient church, discovering a treasure of immense power, or else a secret that left death and intrigue in its wake. The village was Rennes-le-Chateau. Rennes-le-Chateau is at the heart of a major mystery, one of the most profound and tantalizing that I've investigated. The village stands on the site of several ancient communities and fortifications, ranging from the Visigoths to the Templars. The extraordinary history and influence of the Templars is also something that we're going to look at, for they cast their long shadow into modern times, even, strangely enough, on the making of Revelation itself. Berenger Saunier becomes priest of the village of Rennes-le-Chateau. Soon after, he is said to have found parchments which pointed him to a tomb in the floor of his church. Saunier was accused of vandalizing tombstones that showed unusual inscriptions, believed to be codes, similar to those on the purported parchments that surfaced later. They have never been made available for carbon dating. Whatever he found created enough wealth for the poor priest to lavishly renovate his dilapidated church and build an impressive villa, tower, garden, and even some public works. Saunier's death was shrouded in mystery. He had an unusual wake and was refused the last rites. When a young priest went to take Saunier's dying confession, he was so shocked by what Saunier told him that he ran from the room and apparently had a nervous breakdown. Saunier's wasn't the only mysterious death.
One of my predecessors was strangled, but no one knew why.
The priest of nearby Custose, Gélis, was found murdered. The area around Rennes-le-Chateau had been the focus of an unusual amount of interest by various groups and secret societies long before Saunier. This area of France was the land of the intended Templar state and is ringed with Templar castles. Their enemies believed that their aim was eventual autonomy. The Inquisition was set up originally to bring this area under the control of the Church. The prevalent religion of the area was Catharism. The bloody Albigensian crusade culminated in the massacre of the Cathars at the stronghold of Montségur. They died protecting their treasure, relic, or secret. At Rennes-le-Chateau, Masonic symbols show a connection from at least the time of Saunière.
But there's been occult symbolism and meaning throughout history, even in churches.
Just inside the door of the church is a very curious group of statuary. There's a thing at the bottom which looks rather like the demon, Asmodeus, or it could be an earth spirit, holding a dish of water on his head. Above him there are two salamanders, who are creatures of fire in the old tradition. And above the salamanders there are four angels, who are creatures of air or spirit. So you have the four elements of the ancient alchemical theory: earth, air, fire, and water. Could it be that the secret of Saunière's wealth was something to do with that? Although the church is dedicated to Mary Magdalene, St. Anthony of Padua, the patron saint of lost treasures, holds the venerated position by the sacristy in the church. So what is the lost treasure or secret? It's like a kaleidoscope of mysteries, turned by the hand of time as the years roll by. The loculus, meaning coffin or receptacle, was invented for the film. However, the church was built on top of Visigothic ruins. Was it Visigothic gold that Saunière found? An ancient artifact? A lost knowledge? Or a secret, such as Christ's bloodline? The Holy Grail is perhaps the most popular treasure theory. Although many agree that it is the Grail, they disagree on the nature of the Grail. One theory is that it is mistranslated French and is actually sang réal, or blood royal. It has been postulated that Jesus married Mary Magdalene, and that after the crucifixion she was taken for safety to Jewish Septimania, where she bore Jesus' child. Rennes-le-Chateau is where Septimania was. It is believed that over time, the descendants of this child produced a special Merovingian bloodline.
Queen and bride of Christ, and mother of the Merovingian line. And the Martells.
This special lineage appears to have lines going through nearly all of the nobility of Europe. Noble families with Merovingian blood, such as the Martells, have links to the Templars and often figure prominently in history, as with Charles Martel, Charlemagne. There is only one common thread running through all of the theories, and that is the involvement of the Templars. When 9 knights arrived in the Holy Land, claiming to be poor knights who'd relinquished all their goods, the King of Jerusalem gave them quarters in the palace built on the foundations of the Temple of Solomon, a site believed to be directly above the Holy of Holies. It is here that they became known as the Poor Knights of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, or Knights Templar. There is some evidence that they excavated this site for relics whilst based here. They rapidly gained favour with European nobility and the Vatican, who gave them a papal bull making them answerable only to the Pope, effectively becoming warrior monks. They received donations from all over Europe of land and money, and these poor knights soon became immensely wealthy. As the Templars' influence in European politics grew, so too did their enemies. The King of France, fearful of their power and eager to get his hands on their wealth, led a highly orchestrated conspiracy, manipulating the Church and the Pope to set the Inquisition against the Templars. Claims of them fraternizing with Muslims and Eastern mystics, or following an older, more heretical belief system, and acquiring mysterious supernatural relics may have some basis in fact. Charges of heresy followed swiftly, and in a single night, Templars across France and Europe were arrested. Many chose to die rather than reveal the Order's secrets. Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master of the Order, was burned at the stake and cursed the French throne as he died in the flames. Chillingly, the king was dead before the year was out. He had failed to find any of the immense wealth of the Templars, although he'd heard rumors of a great treasure fleet sailing out to sea. Areas outside France were less well orchestrated, even sympathetic, allowing many Templars to escape. Many of the commanderies and personnel simply changed their names as they were taken over by other orders, such as the Knights of St. John, who eventually moved to Malta. It was no coincidence that Columbus's ship had the Red Templar Cross on its sail. It was thought that one major group fled to Scotland, where a mysterious group of knights are said to have fought on the side of the Scots at the Battle of Bannockburn. They took refuge at Roslin, where Scottish Rite Freemasonry is assumed to have begun. It has even been suggested that the Templars founded the Swiss banking system. Many believe that modern Templarism has exerted a clandestine influence on the world ever since.
General Desmoulins, has your agency had reports of a powerful secret society operating in Europe dating back to the Middle Ages?
I don't think so, Mr. Chairman.
The extraordinary history and influence of the Templars is something that has cast its long shadows into the present day, and, strangely enough, even into the making of Revelation itself. Ominously, during the making of Revelation, St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall, Western England, and London's Inner Temple were used as locations. This is the site of the early Templar commandery in London, and it was here that the library scene for Revelation was filmed.
Underground stream doth possess a most secret reliquary that is bound to the book of Revelation.
So what's the underground stream?
And only later was it realized that they were ancient sites of the Knights Templar themselves.
Illegal Masonic orders.
Most of the major conspiracy theories to this day are attributed to them or their Freemason branch in some form.
by one particular Grand Master, whose identity remains unknown.
The Church of St. Mary Magdalene in Rennes-le-Chateau is still open to the public, although it has no serving priest. Strange events and deaths associated with that church have never been explained.